Hello everyone, welcome to my English class. This is Kavita Victor, English teacher at Basava Residential Girls School for the 7th standard. Today we'll be learning a little bit of grammar, and the topic is going to be parts of speech. Okay, let's get on with learning. Most of you will already be aware of the 8 parts of speech. So I'm going to list them one by one, and if you all already know it, just repeat after me or try to recall them. Okay, noun, verb, pronoun, adverb, adjective, prepositions, conjunction, finally interjection. Now let's go into detail of each part of speech. First one we are going to learn is about noun. What is a noun? Noun is a word used to refer to people, animals, objects, substances, states, events, ideas, feelings and feelings. A noun functions as a subject or object or a verb and can be modified by an object. It can also be modified. So basically nouns are everything which you, most of the things which you see around them. Okay, they are objects, people, animals. See, here's a fruit, apple. Another example is a girl. Another one is a cat. So we'll see types of nouns. Nouns are of different types. First is a common noun. What is a common noun? A noun that refers to things or people in general. They don't come under any category. Generally, girl, table, car, day, joy. These are all common nouns. A car, for example, and a table. These are common nouns. Next one is a proper noun. Proper noun is a name that identifies a particular person, place or thing. Proper nouns are all the names. Your name, any other name of a person, of a city, of a town, of a district, even the days of a week are also proper nouns. So now you all know who this one is, Sachin. So the name of this person becomes a proper noun. If we just call him cricketer or a player or a man, it becomes a common noun. If we specify him as Sachin, then it becomes a proper noun. This is another example, Karnataka. Or if you want to name a district, Bidar, that would also be a proper noun. Okay. Next comes concrete nouns. Concrete noun is a noun which refers to people, things that exist physically and can be touched, smelled, heard and tasted. So this is basically the opposite of abstract noun. So concrete noun is something which has a physical form and we can touch it. Okay. So anything. Now here we have a boat. So you can see the form of a boat. You can touch it. So it can be considered a concrete noun. Another example is a duck. So the next one will be abstract noun. That is a complete opposite of concrete noun. So abstract noun is a word for something that cannot be seen but is there, which can be felt. It has no physical existence. It refers to qualities, ideas or conditions. Now even feelings don't have a form, right? But they are considered an abstract noun. So look at all these kids, they are happy, right? So happiness is a noun which takes the form of abstract noun. So this is friendship. Friendship is also an abstract noun. And intelligence, you can measure intelligence, but you can't, when you refer to it as a noun, it is an abstract noun. You can't see intelligence, right? So the next one is collective noun. So collective noun is something which is referred to a group of nouns. a group of people or things. So we have many examples here: audience, cattle, family, choir, stack, bunch. So for example, let's take family. So family consists of many people. If in your family you might have father, mother and you, or you might have an extended family of grandparents. So the whole group of people who are related or who live together, when you want to refer to all of them together, then you will call them a family. Now choir, what is a choir? It is a group of people who sing together. So when we want to refer to all of them, then you will use the collective noun form choir. Okay, let's see some examples. Look at these. They are all dancers, as you can see. So the collective noun form given is group. So group of dancers. Next we have fish. So when it is when a group of fish is together, you can call them shoal of fish. You can also say school of fish. Now these are bees. They are called a swarm of bees. Now look, so what are these wolves called? A pack of wolves. And for chicken, they are called flock of chicken. Now next is verb. A verb is used to show an action or a state of being. So very simple, you might have learnt it in your younger days. The simplest definition of verb is doing things are called verbs. This boy, what is he doing? He is laughing or smiling. What is this horse doing? It is running or galloping. So these are examples of verbs. Something which is done. Some action. They are called, any action words can be referred to as verbs. Singing, dancing, watching, listening, learning, teaching, all these are examples of verbs. So there are many different types of verbs: finite verb, non-finite verb, action verb, helping verb, linking verb, regular verb, and the opposite of regular verb, irregular verb. So here I will just explain only the regular verbs and irregular verbs, because you have to learn, you have to be very thorough with these two kinds of verbs, because they will be needed in our further studies when we go through tenses. Okay, regular verbs, what are they? They form their past and past participle forms by adding ed. When the past form of a verb, when it just gets its past form by adding ed to the root word, then it becomes a regular verb. Okay, even in the past participle form. See, any verb will have three forms: present, past and past participle form. Walk is the present form. When the same word walk, you want to use it in a past tense, you will say walked. So how is the root word changing? From W-A-L-K, only the letters E and D are added to the end. There's another word: dance, danced and danced. Paint, painted, painted. If you can see all these words, only ed is added in the end. So these words are called regular verbs. Okay, regular verbs, if you just can remember, all the words are same except ed is added in the end, so they are called regular verbs. Just the opposite of that is irregular verbs. So they form their past and past participle forms in different ways. So you don't have the root word as the same. So you have run. Run is a present tense. Ran, again run. So eat will become ate in past tense. Eaten in the past participle form. See, you don't have any relationship between the present, past and participle forms, right? That is why they are called irregular. They don't have any regular pattern. Speak, spoke, spoken, fall, fell and fallen. So these past participle forms are used in perfect tenses: present perfect, past perfect and future perfect. That is why these verbs are very important. These verb forms, if you learn them properly, when you are converting them into the proper tenses, it will be much easier for you. Okay. So now that's all about verbs. That brings us to the end of the session. Hope you all understood. Hope you all liked this grammar class. Now I've given a worksheet. I have sent a worksheet. You can solve them and try to recall whatever you learnt here. You can go through this video again and go to the particular session whichever you haven't understood. Okay, bye bye. Have a nice day.